yourself?
It's the cake cutting. Then
What?
it's the cake cutting. Then it's the cake
Cake cutting.
cutting.
Oh! And then the cake cutting. Isn't that where, like, you put cake in each other's mouth?
No.
On his face.
No.
Right.
No.
Well, I had given some thought to this day, and I made about 3 or 4 minutes of notes, and I'd like to hear what I got to say. First of all, I'd like to tell you the first time I saw Chris, and I call it Mom, Woodies, and Hair. Chris, Mary, I said, Dad, Mom, I got somebody I want you to meet. His name is Chris, and actually she didn't talk to me, she talked to her mother. And Mom says, I'll arrange it. And so Dad is just like he always is, he's just standing by watching the parade. And so I get invited to Woody's. I don't know why I'm going to Woody's. I've never been to Woody's before, but it's a nice barbecue restaurant anyway. So we're there, and Mary's here, Chris is here, Barbara's here, and I'm here. We're sitting having dinner. And I noticed one thing about Chris, he is really still. I'm thinking he's almost like a statue. And I'm thinking, what in the world is wrong with that boy? And I found out later when Woody's called me and said that they had nailed his foot to the floor so that he couldn't run nor tap his foot. So, but no, that's not what happened. But Chris sat there and endured us. And after we left the dinner, we're riding in the car going back home, and Barbara says, he's got pretty hair. And I'm thinking, Barbara, I was wondering, why are you staring at him? And she says, he's got pretty hair. Don't you just want to run your fingers through it? And I'm thinking, I just didn't get that urge. You know? It just didn't dawn on me. And so, time marches on, and I've got to turn this thing back on, because I don't know what I'm going to say. Next event I want to tell you about Chris and Mary is the asking. So, again, Mom gets the call and says, Mom, Chris wants to talk to Dad. She didn't talk to Dad, talk to Mom. And so, just again, Dad's watching the parade, and Mom says, I'll arrange it. And so I get told that Chris is coming over, and he wants to talk to me about something. What does Chris want to talk to me about? So anyway, we're sitting there, and I am telling you, this boy is terrified of me. I don't know why. I don't think I'm a terrible person. I really didn't have that much to say to him before, but I have to tell you, Bob Stone, is he in here? You've raised a stand-up guy, because he just stood there and stared me right in the eye and said, I need to marry your daughter. And I'm thinking, wow, that kid's got spunk. And he was a stand-up man that day. He knew what he wanted. And you know what? My viewpoint of him changed that day, because he was traditional. Have you ever heard of anybody eloping and then they tell the parents later? And so anyway, Chris stood up, he did what he thought was right. And from that day forward, I just reminded me, he would stand up, he didn't blink, and he went on. And from that day forward, I have to say, I welcomed Chris into my family. And after I got him to clean the garage 3 times, he was thinking, man, this deal ain't working out the way I thought it was going to work out. So anyway, time marches on. And then I'd like to tell you, we went to a dinner at Wanda's house, but Wanda was in Germany. And I'm thinking, why would we go to a dinner? I think it was Christmas. I'm not even sure where it was. But I want to thank Wanda for her hospitality, and she wasn't even there. So anyway, my camera keeps getting off. We had a wonderful time there, and I did meet Arthur. I really like Arthur, but Arthur's, I think, from Pikeville, Kentucky, and people from Kentucky see things differently, I think. And so Arthur, I didn't really get offended what Arthur did, but Arthur, I had been injured, and I'm like, like licking. And Arthur, he must have thought I was hard of hearing, and my wife has told me for years I am. But there must be a message here somewhere. But anyway, Arthur says, "Do you have the gout?" That's the first words Arthur said to me. I mean, I just walk in and I'm like, well, that's really weird. But I got to like Arthur, and we get along very fine. So then I want to tell you about one other event that we did with Chris, and I got what was in this hand? I saw him in a crisis. You want to get to know somebody? Know them in a crisis. I didn't know. I honestly want to say this, but I don't know if I can say it without getting emotional. On January 3rd, I lost my wife. Most of you know that. Mary and I were there in the hospital, and the reason I bring that up is because of Chris's reaction to that. And it wasn't 45 minutes. Bob and Margaret and Chris were there, loving on Mary and me, telling us how much they cared. And you know what? In my book, that's 2 thumbs up, stand up people. So I've seen Chris in a nervous situation. I've seen him when he was first meeting people, and I've seen him in an emergency. And let me tell you, he's one stand-up guy. And I'm welcoming him to my family, and I think he's a wonderful, wonderful addition. And I had one more thing I wanted to say, and
Clip notes?
that's what it says. This is kind of on the serious note, but this says notes to them. Okay, this is my notes to you, Chris and Mary, on helping you for a long, successful life. To start with, I want you to know that success and big are relative. If you don't believe that, go to Washington, D.C. and stand on the mall and look at all those big buildings, and you'll lose perspective because everything is big. And so big is relative. It's relative to where you want to be, what your happiness is, what your goals are, and where you're less uncertain, you know what you're doing, and it is good because you know where you're going. And then I want you to know that also success is invited by excellence. And I don't mean just excellence in taking good pictures if you're a photographer. Did I say that word right?
Yes, you did.
What happened now? One go down and another one go. Success in relationships is number one. You know that. Build it. Let it flourish. So that'll bring success in life. That'll bring success in work. That'll bring success in your eternal being. And then the third piece of advice is excellence in your relationship. And my advice to you is dance with your partner. Life is short, life is good, it's the experience that counts. Welcome.